85. Welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 15. And as you remember from last episode, we need to snag this one. Yep, fertilizer. Drive to this tank to fill your sprayers or spreaders with fertilizer. During the filling process, money is deducted from your account. There's another tank at the garden center. You'll notice up above, it gives me the option to refill the fertilizer spreader. So let's get out of here and let's fill this guy up. Now if you remember where we left off, we have a field that we just harvested, and we have a field that we're digging up, cultivating, and the other field over there you can see we are planting. Now what we were going to get into is fertilizing here, and I figured I'd talk a little bit about that as we get started here. But first I have to check on our guy that's fertilizing. That's combine there. Or not fertilizing, cultivating. Okay, he's almost done. I've noticed if you look, you can really see, oh, it's a little dusty here. You can really see the action that they put into the game as far as how things are working. Even to the point where the 3-point arms would jump up and down a little bit based on the bumps, which is extremely realistic. I'm amazed at how much detail they put into this game. And for me, it's phenomenal. To the point where you can see the exhaust is affecting the landscape behind it. You'll see as he throttles up, the exhaust increases. What kind of game does that? And inside, the mirrors work. Although you can't change them, you can't move them. The dash, for the most part, the different gauges and stuff, they actually coincide with what's happening. You can see what's going on behind us here. It's crazy the level of detail. I'm kind of waiting for him to get done here, so I need to drive him over to the last field. One more pass, buddy, one more pass. Now, I don't know if I discussed this last episode, but I'm going to discuss it now, because I don't think I did. When it comes to cultivating here. Now, cultivating is a normal thing when it comes to farming. And you must remember here, my experience that's coming in is from upper Midwest, southern Wisconsin. So it may be different, and I know it's different in other parts of the world. But for us, after we harvest a field, at least on our farm, we can't just cultivate. And I don't know any farm around us that just comes in and cultivates. Mostly because you're either preparing it for the winter or preparing it after the winter. One of the two. So for us, we actually have to plow it every single season. Every single fall, we plow all of our fields up. It's not just, and I've seen comments from other people on YouTube and stuff that plowing is just for making new fields. Yeah, you can do it that way, but it's not its sole purpose. Plowing is ripping up the ground well enough so that it breaks compaction, because compaction is the real killer when it comes to crop yields. And just driving across the field with the tractors and the equipment creates compaction, and that's what you're trying to avoid. Take this turn here. Put my flashers on since I'm not really on the road. This is more of a farm road. Now there's different versions, yes, I will admit that. There is no-till guys that will come in and they'll basically do no tillage, but they can't do that year in, year out. Generally it only happens whenever you have a seeding drill, similar to what's running in that tractor over there. Hire another worker here and let him run, and you'll see that the straw will just get dug in. But yeah, you usually use it with a drill, but then when they come back, because you normally have a crop rotation, you come back around with the next year and you'll be planting corn. Generally that's the rotation we use around here. And then you will dig it up. You can do minimum tillage, which usually involves some sort of a subsoiler, as it's called, because what you're doing is you've got these big long shanks that dig in to the ground and they don't actually disturb the surface of the ground too much. You don't really see much. What it does is it goes down below what you consider the loam, or the soil that grows. Normally that's only about 8 to 10 inches deep at the most. Underneath that's a real sandy, rocky area that's called subsoil. And you break up the subsoil, creating air pockets and basically moving it around so it doesn't compact. Some people swear by it, other people think it doesn't really work. What's this guy doing? Not too bad. Getting there. I'll pull this guy over here. Now for us, we do what's considered conventional tillage. So we're using a moldboard plow, which is what you have, if I come over here. Let's get out of here. This guy right here is considered a moldboard plow. Although this is a turnover one, so it's got chairs up and down and it'll rotate over to the other side. We use just a straight moldboard plow that doesn't turn over, but it's got like automatic resetting chairs and things like that. But its sole purpose is to turn the ground over, and you actually use the surface of the soil every other year because it gets turned over every year. Then in the spring afterwards, you come back and you actually cultivate the field. We also use something called a chisel plow, which basically is a shanked one, similar to like a subsoiler, but it's meant to just dig up the surface of the ground. It doesn't bury residue, it doesn't tip things over. So it's a little gentler, really good for erosion purposes because it doesn't disturb the ground quite as much. But either way, you come back and you cultivate. So we're going to fertilize here. And this is going to involve a rule that I'm going to impose on myself. Okay, it would help. This one doesn't quite have the range, I forgot. I'm used to using the bigger fertilizer spreader, I think. Let's try this. Alright, that's pretty good. Generally, depending on the fertilizer that you put on a field, you put it on one of two times. Usually after it's planted, especially with nitrogen, you put it on after it's been planted, and usually when it's growing a little bit. But the most common application is actually right before cultivating, and basically you dig it into the ground. Now my rule is going to be for this, I'll do it any time before the crop grows to its second stage. So if it's just like barely sprouted up, I'll be willing to do it. If I haven't cultivated yet, or after cultivating, I'll do it at any of those times. But once the field gets growing, I have no choice. I can't come back in and fertilize it because in real life, you would run your crop down. Actually, there should be enough space for me to do this. So I'm gonna get this guy fertilized. Generally, like if you're using fertilizer and stuff, it's going to go into the planter too if you're planting corn. Use some sort of a starter. I missed the corner, that's okay. But that's the general idea of it. I'm actually going to go up and I'm going to fertilize this next field up here. But yeah, that's the general idea. So right now it just becomes a lot of grindy work. We're going back and forth. We're basically willing to grow a crop and then come back and harvest it and sell it until we can get the items that we need to progress a little bit further, whether it be buying new fields. There's a lot of fields that we can buy, bigger equipment, different types of equipment. Like I said, we're going to be looking into getting into cows, so we're going to have to get equipment that can work with the cows. That tree is in my way and I'm not going to get there for much longer. I always misjudge this a little bit. I like using the fertilizer spreader just because it's a lot cheaper. The sprayer is actually really nifty. I think it does about the same width, but you can actually see with the arms spread out the area that you're actually going to cover. So it's a little easier to work with, but like I said, it's a little more expensive. and I am just not doing well at all today. Let's try this again. It's a little better. Yeah, I missed a few spots, but you know what? It'll be okay. I'll be probably missing, you know, a couple bushels or something like that. Nothing too significant, you know, maybe 50 bucks here or there. I hope that 50 bucks doesn't make or break the farm, so we'll see how that goes. And of course we got just a little strip over there left, so maybe I shouldn't have been stretching it as far as I was, but you know, I like to use the most of each pass and kind of see what happens. But yeah, as soon as you can, get this fertilizer spreader. Like I said, it doubles your crop, and you get twice the yield, which is a big deal when it comes to making money, especially in the early game here. So it's definitely something I suggest doing. So this one we're doing after cultivating, but before we plant. 65%. So we should have enough in here to do like two years worth, or 2 seasons worth, if you will. It's a little back end heavy because it wants to slide around. Get on the road here. It looks like our planter is done, which is good. Although I would like to plant this field first, so that we're kind of in sync. And he's almost done cultivating it, getting there. So I'm gonna run this guy through. Now there is a bigger version of the fertilizer spreader here. Pull behind one, like a little cart. I think it's got twice the capacity as this little guy, but the same spread width, if you will. So all it's going to do is increase how long you can go before filling the spreader up. So this one's kind of handy, being a 3-point like this. Takes up less room. Watch out for our worker here. That was close. Don't want to get in his way. Guess we just got this little narrow swath here. Oh. I have a tendency of pressing V to lower it, because I'm used to doing that with the other implements, but you gotta use B to turn it on. But you'll see as he cultivates it, it's still dark colored, so the fertilizer stays put. No concern whatsoever when it comes to that. Yep, 55%. Oh, we missed this little corner there. Since someone couldn't drive straight. So I'm just going to leave this here for the moment. We want to get over here to the planter. And we want to change things up a little bit. We're going to do both of these fields in wheat. And then I think we're going to do the other one in barley. If you look under here, you'll see the different crops that you have. You know, you have wheat, barley, and canola. Those three are the 3 main ones that you can do with this planter. Technically this planter says it can put in corn and sugar beets, which it shouldn't be able to, but you need special equipment to take that off, which we don't have. So we're going to stick with these 3. And canola, while the price is almost double here, like on the freight yard here compared to wheat and barley, the yield is probably at least half, if not a little bit more. So your best bang for buck is going to be wheat and barley. And it's nice to plant both of them so that you have some of each type, especially when a great demand comes in. You never know when that might be, because you get a very nice price if you get it in a high demand or a great demand cycle. Yep, he's getting there. We've almost got this done. So the feedback I got from the first episode of this was surprisingly pretty well. People seem to enjoy it. So I think I'm going to continue it. And I'm just kind of showing you guys what happens the first time around through here. Actually, I'm going to switch to here. I don't know if you guys can see the different parts of the plant you're working. Like everything is moving underneath there. Like I said, the amount of detail they put into it, it's just downright amazing. Now I think one of the first things we're going to look at getting into to help supplement our income, to help get things rolling, is actually getting into the forestry equipment. And like I said, we're going to do things right. So we're looking at getting this guy, which is a log trailer basically. We pull it behind the tractor. It's got a crane on it. And then of course to go with it, we need a chainsaw. Chainsaws are all the same when we get in a Husqvarna, since that's the one I'm familiar with. But we can cut down some logs now, and we'll sell those at the lumber yard. It looks like he's probably going to do that in 2 passes. I'm going to drop this while we're at it. I don't think there was another weight for this guy sitting up there, but I might be wrong. And I suppose while we're waiting, we can snag those other... Now I'm actually going to lower it. Those other question marks over there, and drop it. So you'll notice here this shed's got a couple of things in it. You're going to have potatoes and sugar beets, and you can see the little conveyor belts sticking out the back. They come around the back. You'll see that they come out this side, so you just drive your little trailer underneath here and you'll start loading it up, and that's how you sell those guys. Of course, we've got another question mark here. Wood chip storage. I don't think we're going to be using wood chips too much because at the moment in the game the wood chipper is extremely buggy. Seeds. If you have the coin to spare, you can refill your sewing machines here. The same pallets can also be found at the garden center. Cool, cool. I don't think I have too many more around here. Oh, there's 2 over here. Just kind of waiting for them to get done. Here, this little trough is where you can refill water tanks. This guy here is for calling the helpline, which I can show you. It's basically just the different things that you can do here. Kind of gives you an explanation of what's going on. Okay, so he's done. So we're gonna get him out of the way, because we don't need him in the way. And I think, to make better use of our space, I think we're gonna park our stuff over here, I think. I haven't tried this yet, but it seems like a good place to put stuff. This little area over here. And as any decent farmer will do, we should put our equipment down so it doesn't put a lot of stress on the hydraulic system. I think he's got a little ways to go. So let's go for a bit of a drive. Just to show you guys the map a little bit more. And I showed you guys the shop last time because I had to pick up the fertilizer spreader. Oh, and I don't think I specified. I'm gonna bring up the map here. Actually, instead of bringing up the map, let's bring this up because it'll be a little bit easier to see. So we own this. Let's go one more here. So we own this field, and this field. And you'll see here, there's a little woods area right here. And there's technically some woods right here coming down by the shop. But this woods area here and this little area up by our buildings is what I consider to be our woods. You know, woods that we can take trees out of. You know, these big areas like this one here and this big area here. To make use of the game, basically, mechanics how I want to play, that area is not allowed to be logged out. So we can only log out on our property. I'm going to shoot across here. I just want to show you guys the beauty of this map. And when you're looking at that mountain over there, that is quite the mountain range. You'll see there's actually a waterfall over there. Actually, I think I want to go down there. Actually, that's the direction I went the wrong way. We're going to take this road down here. This is why I decided not to play on Westbridge Hills, because the terrain on this map is so much more varied, and I'm all about immersion when it comes to the game. There's some mushrooms there. You got this nice little wood bridge, which you can take smaller equipment across. And you got a waterfall. Really neat dock here. We're gonna go this way. Oh, watch out for the people. Hey man, you can't just walk out in front of me like that. Honestly, I can't hit him. I will drive straight through a person, but you know, we gotta be decent here. It's a nice peaceful bridge, a nice peaceful drive. You see there's another bridge over there, and more people walking across. And this, guys, is the sawmill, the lumber yard. And what a lot of people have done to make money is you cut down these trees here and just push them in the pond. Because you'll notice, if I go right here, it'll tell me the mill pond. If you want to sell wood, you can simply drop it into the mill pond. Straight and long pieces get you more money than the short and bent ones. That's important. If you look at a lot of these trees around here, you know, these are, I don't know if those are a type of ash tree. You got maple trees. Those are poplars. But those guys, those trees right there, fir trees. Nice, tall, straight ones. Those are the trees to get. And luckily we have a woods full of them near our place. Now this is actually where I'm going to sell my stuff. And it is a common misconception. I've seen it numerous places. People say, just put stuff into the pond. You know, you make so much more money. Actually, and this just says within this marker, you can unload any wood you have and sell it. Anything in this box actually will make a little bit more money. And then if you press the button here, just like when we sold our grain, you send off the train, you make even more. But here's the cool part. If you have a crane and you load them onto these train carts right here where the logs are, you get even more money than if you put it on that marker. And then you can send the train off too and you get more money yet. So that actually is the ideal way of doing it. Now I'm gonna come, okay, he's not done yet. So the pond is the easiest, and that's why you get the least amount of money. It's just the way the game mechanic works, and it makes sense if you think about it. Because like I said, you can drag a whole tree into there. Although, I have done it in my single player world. I have dragged a tree all the way over to that marker. It is not easy, but it can be done. This is the last thing I want to show you guys, at least for today. This is a jobs board. If I go to my map, you can't actually see it, but down by the freight yard, you'll see that there's a little like sign up by field 17, way up by the coast. There is one where my flashing marker is near the lumber yard. There's one near the windmill, and there's one kind of near the farm there. And what they are, like I said, is they're jobs boards. So if you go up to them, and you got to be on foot to do it, press R to open up your jobs board. Here, the transport company in the village asked for 33 tons of canola. That is a lot of canola. 33 tons. So that would be 33,000 liters, because it is a 1,000 liter to 1 ton ratio, no matter what crop it is. You can take it in multiple trips. You don't have to do it all in once. And you'll get a good reward here. You'll get the money for the crop, but then you'll get usually a ridiculous time bonus if you do it this way. They're extremely rare, and I think if we find one, I may utilize it, just because it's usually a pretty large amount, and so you're gonna have quite a bit on hand in order to do it. I'm gonna come back over here. He's still working. Oh yeah, I'm using tab to jump between vehicles, but if you use shift tab, it'll go back on vehicles. Just a quick and easy tip. I want to go this way. Let me think about where I was going. So this is where actually we should be doing this. Because, you know, if somebody's coming towards us, or coming behind us, we should let them know that, you know, normally we'd be a slow-moving vehicle. This tractor doesn't have a SMV or slow-moving vehicle sign on it, but technically in this game, the cars are the slow-moving vehicles. We are going to get to go across the bridge, which I think is a lot of fun. If you look down to the left, okay, you can't actually see it, but down below there, down that hill, is the little wooden bridge that we went across, and the waterfall is down there as well. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the map. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. Or that. Oh, I missed that one. This is the windmill, actually. So this is one of those locations where you can take stuff to sell. And depending on your commodity, the windmill will give you a pretty good price. Looks like he's got one more pass to go. But as it goes, guys, I am nearing the end of this episode on time-wise. I don't want to keep you guys for a really long time. And I know it's extremely grindy right now. I'm going to start showing less and less of it on camera. And so then we can start progressing. But the biggest thing is, right now, we need to get through a couple harvests so that we can get our logging equipment. And we actually do have, if I go here, we have $100,000 in loan cap because you can take $200,000. So we can actually take out some of the loan and get our equipment. So actually, because of that, I think what we'll do is we'll get our harvest going, but then we'll actually start doing some logging. So we'll pick up our logging trailer. And, you know, we'll get some wood, and we'll take it to the train, and we'll ship it off, and you guys can see how lucrative the logging business can be. But, and a lot of people call for it to be nerfed a little bit because it is kind of lucrative. Well, here's the thing. We're going to do it correctly. We're going to use the right equipment. We're actually going to cut up the trees. We're going to de-limb them, de-branch them, whichever you want to call it. And we're going to cut them up into sections and load them up on a trailer. And we're not going to drag trees. Oh yeah, I missed that spot. We're not going to drag trees into the pond. Now, it's important here we're gonna change this. You gotta do it before you start in. You press O. You'll notice the little symbol in the bottom right corner there changed. Now it's barley. And that would be canola. That would be grass. And you want to make sure you never do that to a field unless you want to go through the painstaking process of making a brand new field again. Which means plowing it up. And you can't hire a person to do that. So just a word of warning. Like I said, this planter can put in corn and sugar beets, but it really shouldn't. So our other two fields are wheat, so we want to make this one barley. So I'm going to shift to that one. Start it up. And let them roll. And it'll take them a little while to do that. But, as always guys, thanks for watching. If you want me to talk about certain subjects in this, like I said, leave me a comment. I read all my comments. I'll even put your name into the video if you guys give me something that you want me to talk about, or a question that you have, whichever it is when it comes to this game or to agriculture or whatever. You know, I'll answer any questions that you might have, and I'll give you credit to your questions in the video itself. So let me know what you think. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take it easy.